I don't think we're gonna see that. What we might see though is that I know Neeb has been sitting on one of his carrier builds for a while.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, apparently he's got a very special carrier build that I believe he busted out at the global finals as well. It didn't really work out that game.
Not really.
That was against Elaser, and Elaser just kind of ran circles around him and then collapsed on his 5th base, or 4th base it was. He was a bit out of position. But apparently he's got some sick carrier timings, and, well, glaives are not better, but carriers in a way are better right now than they were before, because a couple of infested Terrans is no longer going to save the day.
Yeah, he's just playing it safe, apparently. Not even gonna go with those Phoenixes to try and cancel the 3rd base, because with 2 Adepts, the Oracle still being alive, that would be quite hard. 10 Zerglings will not make the cut. 8 extra drones, but we do have +1 melee. Getting +2 melee in the matchup is obviously super important, because you'll get those Banelings with +2 to one-shot probes. And that's the moment that, as a Protoss player, you're feeling quite paranoid, right? Like, there is so much opportunity for the Zerg player to destroy a lot of probes here. A single Adept walling off, but that's gonna be taken care of by the Oracle showing up and just posturing like he's about to use his Ray here. Losing a Phoenix kind of hurts. No +1 attack for air. And Twilight Force, so...
And double rubber.
Yeah, he's gonna go into something rather normal after the Phoenixes being scouted so early, I feel.
These Phoenixes are having a very tough time in finding damage so far. The Spore Crawler positioning is excellent. The Queen movement combined with the positioning of the Spore Crawlers is even better.
The Extractors are already done.
On the 4th base?
Yeah, yeah, they're already finished.
Maybe maybe Serral just saw that the drones were out of position. And he's like, I could end up losing these against the Phoenixes. And Neeb obviously wants to do a little bit more. You look at the amount of energy that these Phoenixes have, and this is like I want to get something done, but you can't fight all these queens if you don't have +1. And he obviously stopped building Phoenixes quite early as well. Neeb will still find a few drones here. Grand total of 7, 8 drones, is that correct?
Yeah, maybe 7, 8 since the beginning. Oh, 5.
That's insane, actually. That's actually insane.
The defense by Serral is just pristine. They're already being loaded up. We've got 10 extra Banelings as well. Tier 3 is done.
How fast is that Great Aspire, by the way?
It's so sick.
It's like a 9-minute Great Aspire.
Yep.
It's funny because Serral had a couple of epic games against Showtime, and then what I loved is, this is a good catch here by Neeb. He's going to find this Dropper Lord, and these Banes will get probably lifted as well. Neeb is actually going to step on creep. I find that a little bit adventurous. The High Templars are super exposed. Oh no. Disaster. That's -4 High Templars. A few more Banelings and crash it. Now the Immortals are very exposed. If the Lynx get a surround there, okay, Serral does not want to commit. That could have been, I mean, it was already bad, guys, but that could have been even worse.
Yep. And this is, I mean, he's going to get a Ravager for his trouble and a couple of Banelings as well, but... This game is just so rough for Neeb and Team USA at the moment, because as we can see, the Greater Spire will be done at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Corruptors are already out.
And we have no Fleet Beacon yet. And now obviously after you lose all your High Templars, you want to rebuild your High Templars, because nobody gets the Templar Archives and research the Storm to then not have Storm. So it's the most normal thing in the world that this is where you're going to sink your gas into. Well, I don't know if Serral's really the Broodlord timing kind of guy, but this time he can probably actually do it, man.
Yeah.
There's another Stargate being warped in now, and that Fleet Beacon has been thrown down. But if Serral just builds nothing but units from now on, I don't know how Neeb stops that.
That's the thing. Like, if he crosses the map right now, he's got a couple of Corruptors that will be flying in as well. He gets those Broodlords next to the 4th base that Neeb is taking at the moment, and that's going to be so hard for him to defend against that incoming attack. Where are those Broodlords being morphed in? Okay, next to the 3rd.
So that's very defensive, and this is actually great news for Neeb, guys, even though I know that this has looked like an ugly game from him so far. But this actually means that this game is going to go on for a long time, and I'm expecting that Serral is going to stay defensive for a while, and that will allow Neeb to get a proper answer for the Broodlords, and we can take the game from there. We might see some carriers. This is a great Zergling counterattack, of course.
Yeah.
So this 5th base is gone. Pylon is gone.
2 pylons will go down. Here, some Zealots trying to go for a run-by on the left side, but with the creep spread being as good as it is at the moment, well, there is nothing that Neeb can do in terms of counterattack, because Serral already knows we'll split the units in the right position. We're looking at +2 cracklings as well on the side of Serral, so they will make quick work of those Zealots with only +2 attack themselves.
Oh no!
Even the Templars are left by themselves a little bit. Here the Broodlings did put a little bit of pressure onto them. That's not going to be enough. Now we've got 4 Tempest being whopped in at the same time.
Okay, we're gonna get Shadow Strike being researched as well. Meanwhile, Fear Dragon just woke up somewhere in California. He's like, oh my goodness, Neeb's playing and he's making blinky teeth. Probably in the chat already. That's how he wakes up. He wakes up in the chat. It's like, Ravi, how do you do this? Oh, +2 Banelings.
The Zealot that's been warped in. Oh, the DT rather.
That's a lot of
Okay. Alright, the DT is gonna give its life. Fire. But will not prevent those 5 probes, extra pylons.
Whoa.
Where did those immortals come from?
The warp
Double
prism.
warp prism?
Oh, it snipes the infestation pit.
Double warp prism?
Parasite. That's pretty damn cool. Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's an invasion.
Yep. 3 immortal in the main base trying to deal as much damage as possible. 8 drones did die in the process. And as you said, infestation pit also died. Yeah, that was a double warp prism drop here from Neeb. Oh. Flood veins.
Do we have enough? Why not, right?
Yeah,
if you have Void Rays, you may as well. Obviously, you got to babysit them a little bit more. This is dangerous. There's no shield battery here. These links will not get in. By the way, it's so useful for Neeb that Serral doesn't right-click on the cybernetics core. Because I think those +2 links with Adrenal would take care of a cybercore very quickly. Let me just tell you, there is nothing more painful than losing your cybercore when like +2 air weapons is like 85% done. You're like, no.
How about when getting your Stim sniped pre-patch as it finishes against Protoss? I think it's even more painful.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, tomato.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same, I think.
Yeah,
if you truly rely on your air units, then that's just as bad.
Yeah.
Banelings this time will make their way through the cannons. A couple of cannons go down. Oh, that's a sweet move. Do we have any? Is that Oracle still alive? Oh, that would be cool. By
he's gonna storm it.
Knows, yeah.
Oh no, he's gonna observe it.
He is gonna observe it.
He's gonna observe it. All right, even drones being burrowed at the moment. Actually reveals that lone Baneling.
He's got an Oracle, excuse me, an observer there.
Yeah.
There's no need to do that at all.
Okay, extra static defense being reproduced here on the left side.
I gotta say though, I still think that Serral should have been a little more adventurous with the Broodlords. I think if he would have made an actual push, that would have been very hard for Neeb to deal with.
I'm actually not sure.
It's Banelings.
Okay. So the thing is, not even talking about balance, but the fact that we're at this spot right now in the game, where the last patch was also to make it slightly easier for Protoss, makes it like an even better chance for Neeb at the moment. I mean, those infestors and those infested Terran especially have been, well, the infested Terran just are not part of the game anymore. So I'm really interested in seeing that, because we've seen some really late game ZVP, right, at Home Story Cup, with Showtime, for instance, playing super great. Was it against Reynor or Serral? It was against Serral.
It was against Serral. Serral was kind of doing Reynor's strategy there, right, with all of the lurkers. And Lambo even said that while Lambo was casting those games. He's like, this feels a lot more like Reynor than it does like Serral. And then Serral went to the couch. He's like, oh yeah, Reynor told me to do this. He said it's really good. He's like, but it's not my style. He's like, I prefer the slower style. I'm more of the Broodlord guy. Couple of Roaches and Ravagers will go down here, but that obviously frees up some supply for extra Corruptus. This is gonna get really interesting.
Yep. Well, I mean, is it the game that Serral goes super long? There's always one game in Nation Wars that he goes for super extra late game in ZVP. Last time he was against Showtime in an amazing game back then.
And those are still plenty of Broodlords, and there's a lot of Queens as well, right? And I think Queens are super important in these fights, because Tempests are most likely not gonna one-shot, so just having those transfusions there really makes your army a little bit better.
Okay, so what does he do with the Infestors, though? Does he go for massive neural, or does he just go for random fungals from far away?
The Shroud.
Yeah, the micro. He didn't research it, so he doesn't even have it.
He doesn't believe. Now, fungals obviously always good. Slows down the unit, slows down the movement. A couple of abducts do land. First carrier will go down. The second carrier goes down as well. Serral's army still feels very, very strong. And Neeb doesn't really get in range. Parasitic bomb on top of all of these Void Rays. Oh no.
Ooh, that hurts a lot here. All the Void Rays will go down. Broodlords are having a field day, destroying every single unit that's on the ground here. All the Templars just went down. 11 Corruptors in the production tab. 8 Infestors. When on the side of Protoss, we've got 4 carriers as well as 10 Templars. So let's see what he does with them. Does he go for straight Archons, or does he keep them to get a little bit more feedbacks and storms available? For now, the Templars will remain Templars.
Look at that bank of Neeb. All the minerals are completely gone. Obviously having to rebuild the interceptors as well on those carriers. Even during the fight, they will be doing that. +3 air armor is about to finish up. Would love to see maybe a little more activity out of the Tempest, right? You gotta utilize that range a little bit.
Yeah.
If you just sit back forever, that's where Tempests are the worst. And I understand the fear of being abducted, but you gotta do something with them, because in a straight-up fight, the DPS is just very, very underwhelming.
He also needs to use Revelation. Okay, now he does, because he's got those 3 oracles that I love with this army, but he needs to use this energy to do stuff with them. Yeah, a lot of Broodlings are actually dealing a lot of damage, and look at this. He's actually going to go for a flank. Serral, that is, with a lot of Banelings and Zerglings. They will go for a counter-attack around the 3rd base, but this base is pretty much done. Here, even Corrosive Bile will land on a couple of carriers, and I thought those Banelings were trying to fish for a couple of Templars that were just going by themselves, but in the end, it's just a lot of probes that just died here to those extra Zerglings that Serral was building.
Yep, it just seemed like 10 at first, but then 8 more went down. These Lings were left over, and it seems like Neeb has had pretty much enough of this game. He's like, with 31 probes, do I really want to sing this one out? No. Let's try to make a magical fight happen now. If all of the Interceptors get out and they stay alive for a while, still some magic here possible with a couple of good storms on the Corruptors. Neuroparasite being used on the Archon.
All right, the Archons here in this fight are actually fighting for Zerg at the moment. Corruptors going to the north side, trying to get some one-shot going onto those carriers. 2, 3 will fall. Infestors are taking heavy damage, but still a couple of carriers and Void Rays remaining alive. But all of the Templars have been destroyed at the moment. The Spores being super handy in this one, and Serral would just evacuate this base and wait out for another fight.
I thought the Corruptor movement there by Serral was brilliant, because if he does eat a bigger storm to the face, he does eat 2 Archon shots, then suddenly that becomes not just a good fight, but it becomes an amazing fight for Neeb. But I thought the Corruptor movement was very smart, and also I didn't really see any Void Rays anymore. If Neeb would have had like 2 Void Rays, right, on the top side of his army, protecting his carriers there, that would have been so much harder for Serral. Now with the reinforcements showing up as well, it's starting to look better and better for the Finnish Phenom himself. Yeah, look at the Corruptor movement. Serral's so good with it.
Yeah, he's playing really well with those Corruptors and Vipers, using the Ducks here. A lot of Archons will show up, but he's gonna dodge those fights for the longest time, right? Serral, that is. Here, sniping that Viper out of the air, also killing a couple of Infestors in the process, but now Neural is gonna get used, and as my fellow Frenchman would say, look at it. Look at the soup. It is 148 against the 96, and now that massive Zergling counterattack, shredding that entire base, as well as the probes that were there.
Yep, these Lings are feisty. They are super powerful. 7 more Broodlords are morphing now. That's going to keep these Archons at bay. Serral knows all he needs to do is just clean up this army, survive just a little bit longer as the first Tempest goes down. The second Tempest goes down as well. The carriers and Archons are kind of confused. It's like, what's our target? What should we be shooting at? Well, Neeb is running out of options.
Sorry, you guys, but there is not that much that you can hit at here. All the Broodlords will be finishing up in the main base, and I think we should be seeing GG here on the side of Neeb, because now the entire army is Serral's. The Archons, they're his. And